some basic form of consciousness might emerge in a system like the one we're developing in our lab, I'm not too worried, right? If it goes rogue and it wants to destroy humanity, it is constrained to that room, it cannot get out, and so we just turn it off and, we're safe. If the other type of risk that you might have is the risk of harming the agent itself, the AI. Even if it has a consciousness, it might have the consciousness of an insect or the consciousness of a mouse or something like this. And so, of course we have to respect it, but it's not dramatic if we turn it off. Whereas if you now transfer exactly the same idea to a large language model, whichever you want, like, the next version of GPT, GPT-5 or something like this, if by accident that turned out to become conscious, right? You take the same ideas of that model going rogue and wanting to destroy humanity with all the knowledge of humanity and all the capabilities, all access to the internet and so on. I think the consequences could be dramatic. I think if anything, it makes us want to go faster, right? Because as I've described, we are prepared. As an ex-neuroscientist, and I've studied the field of consciousness for a while, we are prepared for the eventuality. We're actually actively looking out for it. And so if it happens in our lab, we'll know how to recognize it, we'll know how to handle it, because it's public information, public funds and so on, we'll actually divulge the information. Whereas if it were to happen, even by accident, if it were to happen in a private company where there's lots of money at play and so on, we're not sure that they would be prepared to recognize it, that they would know how to handle it, and that they would divulge it, because it can harm their revenue. And so that's why I want to move faster in that direction. And I think the neuroscientists and consciousness community should actually be actively working in this field so that we can prevent the negative outcomes.